Hi, I'm Lane Sparkman, and I work in the Rhode Island State House for Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea. As you know, the State House is currently closed to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus, so we're experimenting with making some short videos to bring the State House to you wherever you may be.
One of the highlights of visiting the Rhode Island State House is the opportunity to see Rhode Island's Royal Charter, which is on display in the Charter Museum alongside other documents and artifacts that help tell the story of Rhode Island's colonial beginnings. The charter was granted to the colonists of Rhode Island by their king, Charles II, and is best known as the document that gave Rhode Islanders the right to conduct their lively experiment in religious freedom. There's loads of great information about the charter available online, but today I'm going to focus more on what you see when you look at the document, as if you were here in person. So let's begin. The charter is written on 3 pages of parchment, in this case probably sheep or goat skin. You can see that it is densely written and that some of the words look like they're in bold. These are not the most important words, but instead they show the beginnings of a new sentence or a new idea. They're basically like the punctuation in the document. If we zoom in here, we can see the beginning of what is arguably the most important section of the entire charter. It begins, "And whereas in their humble address they have freely declared that it is much on their hearts, if they may be permitted, to hold forth a lively experiment." So this is where that phrase, the lively experiment, originated. And then they describe their experiment, which is to see if it's true that, in the words of the Charter, a most flourishing civil state may stand and best be maintained with a full liberty in religious concernments. This is Rhode Island's radical new idea, that a group of people can live together, can flourish, while being allowed to follow their own hearts and minds in matters of religion. So now let's turn to the margins of this first page, which are highly decorated with symbols of the king and of his kingdom. Beginning at the top left corner, you can see a portrait of Charles II encircled by a large letter C. This portrait, along with the king's wax seal, which would originally have been attached to the final page of the document, tell us that this charter is from the king. If Charles II looks familiar to you, it might be because J.M. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan, modeled the character of Captain Hook on images of Charles. Across the top of the page, you can see the king's coat of arms surrounded by royal symbols, including on the left a lion on a crown, and on the right a lion holding a sword and scepter. In the middle, the king's coat of arms has a lion on one side, representing England, and a unicorn on the other, representing Scotland. They surround a circle that has additional symbols, a harp, more lions, and fleur-de-lis, or stylized lilies. We'll talk more about what these images represent in a minute, but first I want to point out the phrase that surrounds the circle, which is in French, "On y soit qui mal y pense," which translates to, "Shame on him who thinks evil of it." And below that you'll see some more French. Here it says, "Dieu et mon droit," which means God and my right. These French phrases, and the French symbols like the fleur-de-lis, refer to the historic connection between France and England, and both of the phrases are still used in British coats of arms today. Below the portrait of Charles, in the left margin, you can see 2 ovals with crowns on top of them. The first oval contains 3 lions, representing England, and the lower one has the stylized lilies we saw above, which are called fleur-de-lis and represent France. Over here in the right-hand margin, there are 2 more ovals. The top one has a single lion, representing Scotland, and the lower one has a harp, a symbol of Ireland. At the bottom of the right side, you can see a crown on top of a thistle. Like the unicorn and the single lion, the thistle is a symbol of Scotland. And while England and Scotland remained politically distinct kingdoms, Charles, like his father and his grandfather before him, was king of both. Now that you know to look for them, you'll see many more Scottish thistles alongside English roses, bees, dragonflies, and other bugs woven more informally throughout the margins of this first page. So that's an introduction to Rhode Island's Royal Charter. We hope to make more of these short videos, so please feel free to make suggestions for additional topics in the comments section. And of course, we hope that you'll visit the State House and see the Charter in person once the State House reopens to the public.